okay, we could go out for lunch. That was my rule then, breakfast or lunch. So I was like, okay, we could meet up for lunch. So that's kind of like what we did. It just ended up being a longer lunch date than I expected. I have been on multiple dates, wasn't looking for a relationship. And I believe that God brought him into my life for a particular reason at that time. And it was like things shifted that day on our first date.
Wow. When you say things shifted, in what way?
So when I left, I called my sister who I was going to meet. I'm like, girl, listen. I started rambling on, talking about her. And like I said, after that first date, we talked literally every day. It was a shift from my normal, oh, I'm just going to have lunch or breakfast with somebody. And most times there was no second date to now this is somebody who I wanted to talk to on a consistent basis.
Damika went on many lunch dates with men she met on dating apps. Most of them never led to a second date, but when she met Robert on OkCupid, something was different. Their first lunch together wasn't just another date, it was a turning point. Their conversation flowed so naturally that by the end of it, she felt at peace, like she just met the man she could spend her life with. From that day on, they talked every single day. A few years later, they were married. And now, 5 years in, their love is stronger than ever. I'm Dee Dee Patterson, and on this channel, I share real stories of couples who found lasting love online because I want you to believe in love again and know that dating apps really can work. I know because I met my husband of 15 years on a dating app too. This story proves that even if you had one disappointing date after another, the right one can still find you, sometimes over lunch. Let's dive into their story.
Welcome. So we have another couple here. We have Robert and Damika Wesley. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to just jump right into the questions. And the first question is, what do you both do for a living? And we'll go ahead and get started with Robert. What do you do for a living?
I am a truck driver.
All right. So Robert's a truck driver. What about you, Damika?
I'm a mindset and business coach.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mindset and business coach. Nice. All right. So then what site did you guys meet on?
OkCupid.
OkCupid. This is my first one. Yay. OkCupid. Okay. And then how long have you guys been married?
Almost 5 years. So
5 years.
5 years for us, yes.
Okay, 5 years. Wow. OkCupid. And then 5 years. So then who wants to talk about how you met first? Who wants to tell their side first?
We got two different sides.
Yeah, so that's why I said who wants to say it first?
Okay, so the discrepancy is who swiped on who. So
Okay.
I received a message that he swiped on me, and then he sent me like an inbox kind of, and that started our conversation. His version is a bit different.
Yeah,
Okay. So go ahead and tell your version.
that it told me that she waved to me or was saying hello, and I was like, oh, hey, yeah.
Do you remember waving to Robert?
No,
No.
I have it as God just putting us together.
Okay. All right. So Robert, you're saying you got a wave and then you sent her a message and swiped, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tamika said all she got was the message from
Yeah.
Robert. Okay. Okay. So then after you got the message, what happened there?
We kind of talked back and forth for a little while. My life was a little bit busy, but we finally connected off of the site, text message, phone calls for a little while, and then finally eventually made it to a first date.
Okay. How long do you think that was where you guys were just talking before you went to your first date?
I would say probably several
Weeks. Okay.
No.
It wasn't?
No.
How long was it before?
You were a busy lady. So I would say a few months.
Okay.
Months. Wow. Okay. Months. But during that time, like, how often did you talk? Like, was it daily or every other day, a few times a week?
I want to say it was daily, but sometimes it was just real, like, brief, like a good
Okay.
morning, and she'll respond, or she'll say good morning and I'll respond.
Yeah, mostly
Okay.
I dropped my kids off and then on my way into work. And then sometimes I would just talk to him as I, got to work and then hang up.
So then you said you went on your final date like a few months later. So how did that happen, that you finally went on a date?
So he asked me, and it was like a Saturday where I had a little bit of time before I had an event that I was going to. So I was like, okay, we could go out for lunch. That was my rule then.
Okay.
Breakfast or lunch. So I was like, okay, we could meet up for lunch. So that's kind of like what we did. It just ended up being a longer lunch date than I expected.
So how did that go? Where did you guys go? And then I guess I'm assuming the conversation was really good because it was longer.
Yes, and I do remember Valentino's.
Oh, okay.
We went to Valentino
Okay.
here in Baltimore, and we sat down to talk, and it just one conversation after another conversation. And when I looked up at the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to have met my sister to go to the event that we had planned. So now I'm running behind, but the conversations were so good that
Good.
time by.
What about from your side, Robert? How was that date for you?
The same. I want to say it was. Well, I didn't have anything to do that day anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
I was.
Yeah, she was a busy one. Yeah.
Yeah. So she a busy lady. So it felt good to have a adult conversation.
Good.
That's how that went that day.
So then you guys had a good conversation, and then what happened after that? You just had a conversation and then you just left? Is that what happened, or did you guys do anything else?
No, we left that day, and we started talking every day after that.
When did you guys become exclusive after that first date?
August. Yeah. So after August 6th, and we became exclusive August 23rd. This was of
What year was this?
2016.
Oh, 2016. Okay, so then maybe a couple weeks later, you made it official.
Yes.
How did that happen, that you decided that we're going to become official?
Because every day we will, pretty much if I got off, she was already off, and she will say, hey, meet me at the field. Her son will have either a football practice or a game. We'll meet up every day.
You met up every day, like saw each other in person every day?
Yes.
Wow. What was the distance between where you lived?
Probably 20 minutes, if that.
Okay.
But he drove to me because we were both living in Baltimore at the time. But my life, because of my kids, was pretty much in Anne Arundel County. So like football games, school, practices, everything was in Anne Arundel County. So when he got off, he would drive to Anne Arundel County to where I was.
How many kids did you have, and how many did he have? Did you guys... Yeah.
I have 4 birth children, and then one child that, a bonus child.
Okay.
And I have 3 and a bonus child.
Oh, cute. Okay. All right. So did you have to do anything with your kids during that time, Robert, or?
No, I didn't.
Okay. That's fair. Okay.
Because at the time, they were with their mom.
Right. That's what I assumed. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So then you were meeting each other every day, and then one of you make the suggestion, hey, we should just become a couple. How did that happen?
We both had been through some things, and we both were ready to settle down. We decided that would be, our next step is to make it official without, being out here playing games with each other, playing games with other people, things of that nature. It was
right. It was kind of, repeat that.
Mutual.
Oh, okay. All right. And then, so you became a couple. And then after you became a couple, how long did it take for you to become engaged and then married?
We got engaged on Christmas Eve of 2017 or 18.
I want to say it was 18.
Yes, I want to say December 24th, 2018. And then married February 6th of 2021.
Okay. So there's been years in between each stage.
Yes.
Right? Oh, okay. What was happening in between the gaps? Just getting to know each other? What's been happening?
Life and then COVID. So we were originally, yes, we were supposed to get married the end of 2019. Cruise ships got canceled, so our wedding got canceled. It was supposed to. So we literally last minute shifted everything and got married in Las Vegas in February.
Okay.
But what happened was there was a long break in between. Well, there was a break in between the engagement to the wedding. because with us having a blended family, everybody ended up, when we moved in, everybody came with us. My children.
Okay.
So, of course, there's life situations, financial situations. So we waited a little bit until we were in a financial position to then be able to have a wedding.
Okay. I see that. Okay. And then, so did all seven come together as far as the kids, or were the kids, Robert's kids with the mom?
Robert kids came, two of my children, and then in the beginning, there was Robert 3 and my 2.
Okay.
There was 5 children in a household. At different times, you know how the older children are, they need to come back home here and there. Part it was the 5 children.
Okay. Okay. So it started off with the 5 then.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So then you guys finally got married again. When was it? February 6th
of 2021.
Okay, the year after COVID. Kind of. I mean, it was still COVID, but yeah. And then, so we'll go back to the dating app. What made Robert stand out? I'll start with you. What made Robert stand out on the dating app?
Honestly, it not so much on a dating app that he stood out. It was the first date that he stood out. I would say on a dating app, we talked, the conversation was good.
Okay.
At that time, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was just looking for adult conversations and to just go out and have breakfast or lunch. And his conversations, he could hold a conversation.
Good.
And not everybody could do that. So that's why I believe that we talk so much, because it wasn't just the hi, how are you, just the basic that some people have.
Yeah.
Held a conversation. And it went from off of the app to us texting pretty much every day if we weren't meeting up.
What about with Damika? What made Tamika stand out for you, Robert?
From what I had experienced, she she didn't put herself first. It's like, okay, here's the story. Real quick story. Okay. One morning she called me. I was at work.
Okay.
Oh, good morning. Hey, good morning. You working hard yet? No, I am not working hard. She was like, do you eat breakfast? No, I don't eat breakfast. What? You don't eat breakfast? No. She was like, okay, what you pack for lunch? No, I ain't pack no lunch. I eat when I get home. Next you know, she maybe like 20, 30 minutes later, she pulls up. Where are you? I'm here. I'm here too.
Aww.
She bought me breakfast.
Wow.
Money for lunch and said, we'll meet up later for dinner, that's what we did in the afternoon. After football practice, we'll all go to dinner.
Wow.
So, she gets in the car, I lean in, and I just happened to look at her gas needle. It was right above E. I was like, no, take this back. You need gas. She was like, I'm good. You're fine. Look, anybody else before her, I've never had that done.
Wow.
That's called, not being selfish, and, it's about you too. It's not just me.
I love it. That's really good. That's a really good quality. So that's something that you notice early on, that she's always thinking of other people. Yeah, that's a really good quality. Good story too. So that's what made her stand out. And this is almost very similar to that question. What do you like about her? And then now that you've been married for 5 years, and then what do you like about him? But you can go first, Robert. What do you like about her?
What I like about her, she doesn't sugarcoat anything. She don't baby me. I wouldn't say she won't take my side, but she makes me look at both sides of the story. Instead of saying, yeah, babe, right, you do that, you get mad. No, she would say, I understand where you're coming from, but you got to look at it from this way.
I love it.
Stop and think. When I'm in a rant or rage or something, she always makes me stop and think.
I love it. That's really good. Okay. All right. That's good. What about you, Damika? What do you really like about Robert?
He has a sense of humor.
Okay.
It's his, what do I want to say? Good trait and bad trait. Because sometimes, I am so serious most of the time. And then sometimes he's just not serious, but you need that sometimes. I need that laugh. I need that smile. And he's going to give it to me, whether I want it or I don't want it. about him.
Okay. I love it. That's good. And then this is almost similar to the other questions, but when you guys were dating, what made you confident that you found the right one to marry?
He's my opposite.
Okay.
You know how people say the jelly to my peanut butter or yin to my yang? That like every area in my life that I'm weak in, he's strong in. Literally balances us out. And it's like in multiple areas. It's with parenting, it's with just we have like different conversations about different topics, and where I'm weak, he's strong.
Give an example, a specific, I know, like parenting, like what part of parenting?
I am the very serious parent, and he's that parent that's more laid back. And sometimes they need that balance. They need that serious one, the one that's going to discipline, the one that's going to chastise to or make them see things in a different perspective. He has that other side. He's going to be that
good.
Gentle parent. I'm not.
Yeah, that's a good example. Very good example. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. So you guys are kind of opposite. Or he's stronger in places where you're weak, and I guess you're strong in places where he's weak. So okay, good. Okay. What about you, Robert? You kind of said it. I don't know if it's still that she's thinking about other people, but what made you confident that Damika was the one?
Well, I want to say the other thing is when we moved together, maybe the very next day that we moved in, the children had to come live with us. And when I told her, I was like, children has to come live here, she was like, fine, let them. And she scrambled to get beds and comforters and dressers, and she made them like it was together before they even got there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she said, I don't see a problem, but she would be the one be like, hey, stop, no, sit down, do this. And I'd be like, hey, kind of that second day, you don't know someone until you live with them, but I don't think we even skipped a beat. We never skipped a beat.
So it sounds like there was I don't want to say emergency, but it was an unplanned reason that you all of a sudden had to have the kids, and she immediately jumped into action. Is that what happened? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right. And then going back to being online, like what advice do you give to people who are looking for love online? What advice do you give them?
Have patience.
Okay.
He had a lot of patience, and most people would assume that I was just making excuses, which I literally had a lot going on. So I tell people, one, have patience. And I had been on different sites probably for about 2 years.
Okay.
Like I said, I wasn't looking for a relationship at that time. So slow. It's not, and everybody's on for different reasons, don't get me wrong, but have patience and take it slow. It's not something that needs to be rushed.
What about for you, Robert? What advice do you give to people on dating apps?
I want to say the same thing. You got to sift through that flour real
okay.
And eventually that person that you're looking for will be sitting right there in your face. So take your time, be patient, and don't rush anything.
Okay.
Because she's cute, so let me swipe this one. I'm done. I found her. Here we go.
Right.
Just make sure.
I know Damika said she was on there for 2 years. What about you? Before you saw Damika, how long were you on there?
I don't remember. I want to say maybe a year and a half, I want to say.
Oh, really? Okay. So you were on there for a pretty long time too, like over a year. You were on there. Okay.
At first it was something, hey, try this app, try that app, friends would tell me to do. So, I didn't take it seriously at first until people started responding or, swiping on me, and what's going on? Then I started taking it seriously.
Okay. Good. And then did either of you go on other dates besides with each other while you're on a dating app, or were you guys like each other's first dates from the dating app?
I went on multiple dates.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
what about you?
No, I didn't go on no other dates. She was my first.
She was your first date in a year and a half. Okay. Nice. And you're married to her. So, okay. Okay. So, what marriage advice do you have? What marriage advice do you have? You've been married for 5 years.
Communicate, communicate, communicate.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Definitely communicate and understand how your spouse perceives what you're saying. I think that for me, that's a big part of communication, because you can communicate and that's key, but perception is everything. Because I
Right.
something to him and mean it one way, but if he does not perceive it how I mean it, he can take it. It could mean something totally different for him, and he could take it in a way that I did not intend.
Right. That's good. Okay. Yeah, that's really good to just figure out what their perception is. And how do people do that?
Ask questions.
Yeah.
I drive him with that, but I'm big on asking him questions. And I one of the things I do is I check in.
Good.
Because I want to know where he's at. I want to know how he's feeling, things of that nature. One thing I had to learn was ask permission first.
Okay.
So try to check in or communicate about certain topics, and it just may not have been the right time for him. So one thing I've learned along this journey is ask permission first.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's the right timing, then I can check in and see, where he's at, how he is feeling. Is there anything that I could work on? Things of that nature. Just asking questions, that's the only way that you can find out what they're thinking or how they feel or how they took something that you said.
Good. Yeah, that's great. Great advice. Thank you. Okay. And then what marriage advice for you? You said the communication, Robert, right? Okay. Okay. And then what is your favorite part of being married? What is your favorite part?
For me, it's somebody that I can come home to. I had been working on myself 3 years prior to meeting him. I had gone through a total life transformation. A part of that was my relationship with God. Mm-hmm. So for me, I love the fact that I can come home to somebody and I don't feel guilty for sinning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's important.
Yes.
Oh, same for me.
So when you say the same, what's your favorite part, Robert?
My favorite part is, well, I'm the one who physically goes out and so coming home, seeing a beautiful face that's smiling after you don't have people cut you off, and you just had a rough day. So, you always got that nice, how was your day? What did you do? All right, calm down now. Calm down. You're home now. That soft. It's time to relax. You don't need to bring that rah-rah in here type.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you come home, it's peaceful than what you dealt with out on the outside. Okay.
Out in the world.
Was it love at first sight for you guys?
Well, when she showed up to my job that day and did what she did, it was love at first sight.
Was that your first time seeing her?
No, this was...
It was after our first date.
It was?
Mm-hmm. Our first date was the first time we seen each other.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it love at first sight then?
She was different from what I normally dealt with. So...
Okay. You said it was? Okay. What about for you, Damika? Was it love at first sight for you?
I wouldn't say it was love at first sight, but I knew that he was somebody that I could spend the rest of my life with. It was the day that we were at Valentino's talking, like I said, time had just passed by without even realizing it. And like I said, I had been on multiple dates, wasn't looking for a relationship. And I believe that God brought him into my life for a particular reason at that time. And it was like things shifted that day on our first date.
Wow. When you say things shifted, in what way?
So when I left, I called my sister who I was going to meet. I'm like, girl, listen. Started rambling on, talking about her. And like I said, after that first date, we talked literally every day after that.
Okay.
It was a shift from my normal, I'm just going to have lunch or breakfast with somebody. And most times there was no second date. to now this is somebody who I wanted to talk to on a consistent basis.
Got it. Okay. Because you felt like a connection with him and you didn't with some of the other guys?
Absolutely.
Is that what? Okay. Okay.
Thanks so much for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe for more real life love stories from couples who met on dating apps. And if you're ready to find your own person, I've linked some free resources below to help you get started. See you in the next video.